in the work I do with people, one of the things that comes up quite often is, these open centers, huh? The pain that's in these open centers, the patterns of our behavior that are in these open centers, the conditioning we've taken into these open centers. And it's so hard for the mind to really understand that there's nothing to do. Because it's always trying to think, well, what can I do? What can I do to get rid of, trying to prove my worthiness that I have and that I keep seeing in myself from my open heart? What can I do to, from my open solar plex that, I keep being nice, or, I keep trying to calm everyone down or make the peace? What can I do with my open Ajna center when I just feel stupid and I can't remember and I want to really prove that I'm not stupid, huh? And the thing is that this isn't a therapy, and it's not a working on yourself. It's not doing something to get rid of these things so that you can be you. You already are you. It's just buried, huh? It's buried layers and layers and layers of all the conditioning that we took in from the moment we came out of the womb. You're already there. Inside, it's there. It's just, because of the conditioning and because of the old patterns of behavior, and, whether it's trying to pretend we're manifestors if we're not a manifestor, trying to pretend we're a generator if we're a projector or a manifestor, all of this, plus the open centers, plus, there's so many layers and levels in human design where where we can live out a distortion. But inside is who we were born to be, and it's been there from the moment we came out of the womb. So, I remember when Ra gave me my reading, and he told me I need to, he said you need to wait for life to come to you. You do not go towards life. You let life come to me so that your body can respond to who's coming, and you can make your sounds for yes and no, and that's your inner authority. And my mind thought, well, I'd been working on myself for almost 20 years when I met human design therapies, meditations, group work, individual work, all kinds of stuff, because I had been searching. That must be a shortcut then for me. I won't have to wait the 7 years, because I did all this stuff on myself. No, I did have to wait the 7 years. Because mostly, so much of that work is working on, for lack of a better term, the not self. I was doing therapies, releasing emotions. I'm open emotional. I was releasing all the emotions I was taking in from everyone else, and it looked like I was clearing them out, this kind of thing. In all the years, especially those first 7 years, all I did was wait, really wait. I stopped talking. I remember this. This was from Ra in my reading saying to me that he couldn't trust a word I said because it was just my mouth talking. It was not the truth of my sacral response in sounds. And as a 6-2, trust was something very important for me. I wanted to trust the other, and I valued who I was then as being honest about my feelings and my thinking and who I was. And that kind of shocked me a little bit. So I stopped talking too. I really just waited for something to come to me that my sacral could respond to in sounds. And I know, I think in a past video clip I talked about waiting. You couldn't be in a more intense therapy session for yourself than being alone and waiting. I mean, and for most of the planet, this is it. There's waiting involved. We have to wait. And this in itself already begins the process of deconditioning. What I saw in myself in the beginning was I wasn't waiting to wait. I was waiting because I wanted to be asked something so I could get out there and do something. I was still in that old pattern of wanting to do something, wanting to contribute, wanting to, all of this. So it wasn't really relaxing into waiting. It was waiting to be asked so I could respond, so I could do something. So the waiting already is doing so much work on the conditioning. It's already breaking the old patterns that we've been living our life from. It's doing that. It's stopping the old patterns, because I don't know about you, but I never waited for anything. So when, people ask me about what can they do to help the process, and, how can we, help clean out that open solar plex, or the open root, or the open ajna, or whatever, the open sacral. It truly is live your strategy. Live your strategy. That is the beginning, the middle, and the end. We never can leave living our strategy. I can never leave waiting to respond. As home. Yes, if there's a projector there, I know I need to initiate with a projector because it's not correct for them to initiate with me. And then the projector will ask me back, and if they don't, I don't know if I want to do what I initiated. So I'm kind of like, have to ask them, can you ask me back if I want to do this? Because I need to hear that. So strategy really is it. It's what breaks the patterns. It's what is the deconditioning process. Now, that doesn't mean I'm a generator if you're a projector or a reflector, and you get invited or asked to do this workshop or go to a meditation, and that place inside of you that makes your decisions, whether it's your inner authority or your decision-making process, says yes, then you go. But it's not because your mind says, if I meditate, this will help this. If I do this group, I'm going to clear out because it's an emotional clearing group. It's about you living your strategy and honoring the place where your yes or no comes from, and allowing that to take you in your life. Because that's it. That's really it. There is nothing to do. We're so caught up in doing. And there is something added. It's the, these Mick Jagger's got a song, Old Habits Die Hard. I love this song. It's such a cool song. They die hard. I mean, they, however long you've been alive is how long that conditioning pattern has been perpetuating itself. So you can just be aware, you're talking, you're with friends, and, your open heart center is trying to say that in words, look at me, I'm great, or I did this and I'm great and I'm good, and trying to prove its worthiness, or the open throat, just talking and talking, trying to get attention, or trying not to feel invisible. And then you realize, I did it again. But it's so good because you see it. You see it. You never knew that before, huh? I never knew it before, that I was always trying to make nice because of my open solar plex. I didn't know I was doing that. That was how I survived, So just noticing, observing, not having the mind always watching the life, but just being in your life and just noticing, oh, wow, I went towards, oh, that didn't work, huh. It's just observing and noticing, and then an awareness starts growing, huh? And then what happens is, rather than, and I don't know how long it takes, it could take a year, it could take 2 years, it could take 7 years, I have no idea, everyone's unique, huh? But, rather than noticing after, you start to notice in the middle or towards the end. As soon as you notice, stop. In the middle of a sentence, stop. In the middle of going towards someone to ask them a question, stop. It's like, it's just awareness. And we all have that capability. We don't have to have a defined awareness center. Awareness is part of consciousness in form. It's being conscious. It's being present in the form. We all have this. So, there's magic with strategy. There's magic with it. It's magical. Magically mechanical, huh? And the inner authority, that comes later. How we make a decision. First something's got to come to us in the correct way before we can say yes or no to it. But those two things together, and there can be a lot more strategy and very few yes or no's to something because nothing's come. And if nothing's coming, that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Because if you're waiting, everything's happening. So, what I've gotten to see for my own process was this, I have an open solar plex. I could not believe that I would ever not feel guilty. Shame and guilt, man, that was my whole life. And, it would come up, and I would go, oh, there that is, And then all of a sudden, and I wasn't even saying anything, I could just feel it in me. Especially if I went in the beginning to someone I loved, all the guilt of, oh my God, I said, no, I love that person, all this stuff, because I was so new. I was a basket case in the beginning. And this guilt, just one little example, because I have all these open centers, but this guilt, because I remember it so well. I don't know how many years it was, but all of a sudden it was like, wow, I don't feel guilty anymore. There was no more guilt. And I don't feel guilty anymore about anything. It doesn't surface, it doesn't come up, it's no longer stored in my open solar plex, and I didn't do anything for that. I didn't work on it, I didn't talk about I just lived my strategy. And what I've gotten to see for myself and in working with other people is that everything that is not you, that you've been living your life from, dissolves. It just dissolves, that there is nothing to do. And I just recently used an example of Alka-Seltzer. You know, these effervescent tablets that you put in water and it just fizzes, huh? And slowly, you can watch it because you've got to usually, before you drink it, you've got to wait till it all dissolves. And at some point, there's no more tablet left. It's dissolved. This is the same thing. These areas in us that are not part of our essence, that we've lived out, they just dissolve. Yes, and things can happen and the mind can remember and all of this stuff, but it's not you. It's not you. If anything, there might be like a little shadow of a remembrance, quick, but it's not you, and you know it. And then when you move through life as you, it doesn't matter what's happening, because you've moved through it. You've been in your strategy, whatever came correctly. You said yes or no from that place inside that is there to say yes or no to things. And then you're in an experience. And it's always changing. The only thing that doesn't change is you. Every experience is new. Yeah, there's similarities, but it's got to be new. But who is in the experience is the essence of you, huh? You're aligned, the cells have been transformed into the essence of who you were born to be. And then that is what meets the other, and that's what meets life, and that's what has all the experiences. But that's all out here. But this is the essence, the alignment. No more distortion, You really see what you're meant to see. So, relax. Because truly, there's nothing to do. There is nothing to do. We have been so conditioned to do. That Nike slogan, just do it if you don't do it. So if you are in the beginning of this experiment, or you're in this experiment, or you've been a long time in your experiment, the mind is always wanting you to do something, because that's where it keeps its power. But there is nothing to do. Just in strategy and authority isn't a doing. It's a relaxing. It's a key to get to your essence. That's it. So, just enjoy that little tablet dissolving, and one day you notice, wow, that's not here anymore. Wow, how did that happen? I love the simple. I love the simple. Strategy and authority. It's the key to the magic of you.